Good morning. Welcome back to Rescue Residence. This week, got in my first T-shirt and got a big old poster. And some other stuff too we're going to talk about. Let's go into this week. Rescue Residence, where our vehicles and our participants have lived a life of service. It's our mission to bring them both back to life. For this week's Daily Victories, we are talking about the week of Saturday, February 26th through Friday, March 4th. I am recording this video on Wednesday, March 9th, so it's a couple days later. So obviously there's a couple of days worth of more information that I have, but we'll cover those next week. So on Saturday, 26th February, I submitted for our very first grant, so I'm pretty excited about that. So it is a really cool FedEx small business grant. And on March 22nd, we will find out if we made it into the top 100 for this grant. And if we did, then it becomes a public vote to determine who wins the top grand prizes. So there are three $50,000 grants for the top three grand prize winners, along with a great package of all kinds of other small business essential stuff. And I'll post up here what you could get, show the grand prize stuff. And there's also 7 first place contestants that win $20,000 plus a lot of the same package perks. So I'm pretty excited about this grant. And come March 22nd, we may be looking to everybody with a quick video and lots of posts on social media and trying to get all of our friends to go in and vote and help out and try to spread the word, because this could be our first big step towards being able to get set up and get going and get our demo ambulance, which you obviously have heard a lot about on this series of videos. Get it really fully up and running and get it built into a demo. So that'd be really, really awesome. So I ended up getting an email back on Saturday from Iceco saying this is not the right email address. You need to send that kind of question over here. So I did that. I sent the email to the right email address, apparently. Saturday, 26th February was the day I actually got this computer fixed and working. I've been mostly running on the one you see kind of clicking by in the background for our studio stuff. This is a big, powerful gaming PC with a really nice video card. It just didn't have a hard drive in it. And it's been sitting here for a while, since Logan left for college. I've really spent a lot of time working on it because this is going to be my specifically for work and for video productions and for graphic design and for really putting out all of this stuff for our nonprofit. I'm going to focus on this desk and this setup being my nonprofit setup. So on Sunday the 27th, I reviewed 3 properties that were sent over by the San Bernardino County Economic Development Office again. These ones are included like photos and addresses and a lot of information about the actual specific properties. One of them included a Dollar General, which doesn't really fit what we need, but I think was maybe to give me a good idea of what's going on in that area, how much things cost, and that Dollar General was kind of expensive. So that was out, but the other properties were definitely interesting and worth considering. I also went through our website and updated everybody's biographies. I still need a biography from one of our board members. Hopefully they're watching this. Send me your bio. I don't know why I didn't think about this before, but with all the issues we're having with this ambulance, partially because it's so far away from us right now, and we're not quite as fully able to go somewhere and access things because it's not what I'm doing all day, every day, to look on eBay and look for ambulances that have been converted into tiny homes that are for sale, or look for ambulances that are for sale right here in Southern California somewhere that I could drive over and take a look at. So I started messaging people who are selling ambulances, and especially ambulances that already converted to tiny homes, on eBay to just try to contact them for a couple of reasons. One, to see if they're interested in donating it, but also just to try to make contact with some people who are already part of this community and maybe get a chance to get some people interested in what we're doing with it. And then potentially, I mean, for me, it's a big deal too. This actually was able to happen this week. I've never been in one or lived in one or done this as a part of my life. This gave me a chance to be able to go and actually stand inside one and not just see them on videos, but truly understand what that space felt like if you were to convert it over into a home. And that's pretty cool. We'll get to that when we get to that day. Right, so the last thing on Sunday was I also emailed a company that is an economic opportunity fund manager. I believe that they're centrally located in Arizona, though. They kind of focus on an area near them, near Phoenix. But I contacted them anyways just to see if maybe they know more about California Opportunity Zone funds, or if Their fund isn't limited to Arizona. That just happens to be where most of their projects are working now. I saw their CEO on a video, and that made me think that it might be worth trying to reach out to their organization and see if they can help us get a better understanding and figure out how maybe opportunity zones could help our business and help our organization help some homeless veterans out. Monday, February 28th was the morning I got up and recorded a video like this for last week. This is Wednesday, so I'm slowly but surely slipping further and further back. I'm going to have to try to get a better schedule set, but this is very early, and I'm trying to fit this in as best I can. I think, despite my last week's comments, I think that Mondays might be better because that gives me the weekend to edit and do thumbnails and upload for sure. So expect a Monday drop for each weekly video. That's probably a little bit more realistic than trying to think I'm going to somehow record and edit and upload and do everything all before Friday. So let's give me the weekend to get these to you on Mondays. On Monday last week, we got our very first video comment. Woo! I know there's not a lot of people subscribed yet, and it's not really, the traffic generating content that we're going to eventually have, which is, real stories about people making a change and about vehicles being converted over, and all that stuff's really more engaging and more entertaining than this right here, what I'm doing. But this is just trying to make sure that those who are already plugged in and are already interested in what we're doing can be kept up to date with what work we're doing and how we're making progress. But yeah, we got our first video comment, and it was from my score.org mentor that I got hooked up with. And so thank you to score.org for helping me by assigning a really great mentor. I don't know if I would have went ahead and really pushed forward with this not knowing that I had some solid backing, because I've never started a small business before. This is my very first foray into this, and I'm doing something that is challenging on its own right too, without the need to figure out making a small business from scratch for the first time. So it's been very helpful having a really great mentor backing us and helping us and giving great guidance, like more frequently than our meetings require. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for all of your support. And what I wrote down was, thanks for being just as passionate about this mission and what it is that we're doing as we are. I feel that, and I can sense that, and I really appreciate it. It helps keep me driving. All right, so Monday, T-shirts were printed and shipped. So I got an email from Redbubble saying T-shirts were all done printing and had already shipped out. So as you can see, obviously, I got them a couple days later, and I'm super excited about the shirts. I think this one looks really great. I noticed that the shirts that have this little symbol in it right there, the top got clipped a little, and that's obviously on me by positioning it incorrectly. So I have to go in still. I haven't done that, so I'll be on probably some other episode, and adjust that image down a little so that it doesn't clip off when it gets printed. We got our first $50 patron on Monday, so thank you very much to Mike and Shelly, and your name will probably be up at the end of the video as well. So thank you so much for being a $50 patron. I think, let me double check. I'm pretty sure that's the perk for $50 patrons, but either way, right now, as we're just getting up and getting started, every patron is going to be kind of shouted out as we go. So I really appreciate coming in at that $50 tier and helping us out. We're going to make sure to get you stickers and magnets and then T-shirts that we have built. So once I finalize, this one is pretty much for sure going to happen, and then once I can finalize the R+R symbol fix, I'll probably the next month after that be shipping you a T-shirt as well. And anybody else who's in at I think the $25 tier is also going to be getting some T-shirts. So the Monday after getting notification from Redbubble that the shirts were printed and sent our way, I went ahead and did a whole new design, and this is it right here, these QR codes. So this is the QR code that takes you direct to our website. I got the design uploaded and then ordered a bunch of stuff, and I ended up getting all of that in very, very quickly. We're going to cover that in the next set, but you can see this poster right here, and if you are watching this on like a computer screen with your phone, you should be able to scan that QR code right now and have it go to our web address. The one thing I'm looking at with this, I'm going to actually try to get this one framed probably and hung up somewhere, and then eventually, most likely, this background will change. Right now I'm recording kind of in our Lego and gaming studio with just everything here as the backdrop. I think I need to kind of build a separate one just for rescue residents. We'll see. And then I can have that up in the background. then anybody watching videos can just scan the QR code while watching it and go to our website on their phone. So that'd be kind of cool. One kind of really big deal thing happened Friday night, kind of late. So thanks to an email I got from the San Bernardino County Economic Development Office, I've been talking to them obviously a lot that week and that day too. I didn't realize it at first. She'd included some information in some links at the bottom of an email from one of her colleagues, and looking at those links, I came across one of the websites which basically allowed me to look at every single grant for the state of California and then filter by what our mission basically is and what it is that we would fall under in categories, and then see every single grant and how to apply for them all on one website. And if you haven't catched so far, like finding something concise and together like that, where it's not just some single individual entity stovepiped information, is not easy and was super big. I was shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, this is all in one place. And I immediately told some of the board members, said, hey, this is the place we're going to have to go to get stuff. But the bad side to that really cool moment was, by looking at them, I could see what we should be able to have applied for, knowing that we technically started in December. If we had 501c3 and had everything else immediately all ready to go, there was a grant ready that was due for me Tuesday basically at 9 a.m. So I technically could write up a thing overnight, just stay up, crank it out, build a whole proposal. And the entire grant program was for $600 million with 10 to 20 awardees, 20% of which were going to be set aside and dedicated to rural areas, which, if we go into the qualified opportunity zone north of Yucca Valley, is definitely rural. Really felt like we were kind of a shoe-in to win 10 to 5% of that $600 million grant. But he had to have 501c3, and we would have had to have that ready the next day. And we didn't have, obviously I could have probably made one. It wouldn't have been great if I tried to get it done in less than 12 hours. And we don't have our 501c3 back yet. So we just missed out on that opportunity. But I will say this was kind of a boon for me personally, where up until that moment when I was really able to show, like, these are where grants are, this is how much money is available, that there is potential for this to really work, that these are the things I would have to do. I don't think it was 100% real for my wife that this has potential for being able to be a thing that can run, and seeing that large of a grant as a possibility made it a bit more real. I think right now, up until that point, I think she thought like maybe we were going to have to run on donations only, and that's just kind of to get us started right now. Long term, we're going to have to run on grants, and I have 5 revenue streams sort of set up that I see us being able to run, and grants is one of them. And I think a lot of what we're going to be able to do is going to probably come through grants and stuff. But seeing that and finding out that, and for me, that they're all concise together in one place, that's definitely helpful. And it was helpful for me to see her finally kind of start to see the spark and to see this idea coming through. So it was good, but still sad I missed out on $600 million. On Tuesday, the 1st of March, we got another patron. So that's like 2 days in a row, new patron. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is actually starting to roll. We haven't got another one since then, but it was interesting. So Tuesday morning, not like early, but somewhere in the morning time, I saw a new patron. I was like, oh, super cool. And then that patron joined Discord immediately and immediately started talking and asking questions, and it was fun to have some engagement over there. So at a minimum, if you're interested in talking with us and getting engaged and being able to ask questions either about topics we cover here in the video or things you're thinking we could be working on that I haven't mentioned that we aren't working on, come in, like, join us. So the Discord, you can gain access through our Patreon, and we're going to try to put out a pretty detailed patron video, just like explaining our Patreon tiers, even at the minimum tier, the $3 per month tier, which will be very helpful. If if it's all you can manage, then you can look at that and say, hey, that $3 per month is something you're doing to help us help homeless veterans. So it's definitely helpful if that's all you can manage. But it also gets you access to the Discord, and we'll put posts up on Patreon, links to videos, probably not these ones, but when we actually start putting out like far more entertaining videos than me just sitting here running my mouth, we'll release those early for our patrons so they can watch them a couple days earlier than everybody else, and then they'll release. So same day, we also got a $20 donation through our website, and I just wanted to make like 2 points on it. We were basically at that point kind of trying to do a little bit of another push to try to get some funding because of needing to pay for the tires and brakes that you learned about last week. And so some people were starting to donate because we were, sending the message out again that we need a little bit more funding. But if you go through the direct donation link on the website, it takes a little bit more of a chunk out of it, just because we end up paying service fees through Squarespace and service fees through PayPal. So it kind of hits us twice. There's a link on the website and a link on our social medias that has a QR code. So there's QR codes and direct links to a PayPal campaign, and then we only have to pay the PayPal fee. Long term, once we get our 501c3 back, I'll be able to submit paperwork and get all of the differences between the fees for those two back. Like, they'll pay us back for those, but in the short term, while we still need to pay for these tires, you can save us a small percentage and go direct to the PayPal link. It's definitely available on the Facebook page, and I'll make sure that it's up on Instagram. I know for sure that link is in the description of this video as well. So if you look in the description of this video, you'll see a donation link, and it's going to take you direct to the PayPal campaign. You can leave a note there or do whatever else you need to do. All my notebooks arrived. I showed you pictures when I was talking about developing this logo and what I ordered. Those arrived on Wednesday. So you see a picture of all those books. It's pretty cool. I don't like the one that's a hardbound one as much as I like this one, because it's cloth bound and the other one's vinyl bound, and the bindings inside here, it's pretty easy flex. Like, it moves without feeling it. The other one feels super stiff. I'm worried I'm going to break the book when I'm using it. I'm thinking maybe a little bit of usage, maybe it warms up and feels a little more loose, but yeah, it scares me. I feel like I'm going to break it. But the spiral ones work really well. So if you're looking through the links in the description to the Redbubble for whichever of the logos you really like, that'd be where I'd go. I'd go with the spiral notebook if you're wanting a notebook, just because it immediately felt like I could easily write in it. But I can't say that these won't work. Like, something like this wouldn't work once I finish up this notebook and end up in another one. I couldn't say for sure that they won't get better as I work with them and use them, but it made me nervous right up front. So that's my little piece on it. So on Wednesday, the 2nd of March, we emailed Paula, our Score.org mentor, about Project Roomkey, Project Homekey, because looking at the grants list that I talked about a bit ago, it's one that's due in like April or May. I don't remember for sure right now. And so I know it's far enough out where we should have 501c3 back. We can really start preparing ourselves and preparing our proposal. And so I asked her for advice and to kind of review this particular grant and see what we can do, how can we get prepared, what should we be building, how does that work, and see if we can plan on discussing that one at our meeting, which we have usually the first Monday of each month. On Wednesday, I sent the lined out version of our logo here, so this little R plus R, but only just the outlines with a little bit different R's on it, more like a racing R style, and sent those over to Teeny Bit Crafty, which is a crafts and designs person that I know, to basically take that logo, turn it into an embroidery file, and then see if we can start getting that embroidered on some polo shirts. I'd like to have like a nice, very clean like logo on the shirt, and like have it be a polo, a little bit so for if I need to dress nicer a little bit, but have our organizational logo on it, I can do that. So then I also asked that same day for Best One Tires to try to send the video clips that you saw in last week's video about the tires and the brakes. So I asked for those video clips so I can make sure to include that and let y'all know that there was a problem. Okay, so I also finally sent that email to the leadership over at Electromechanica to see if they'd be interested in doing some kind of an arrangement where they donate some portion at least of a Solo, so that we could get some kind of a vehicle going as like an official vehicle with orange vinyl wrap and stickers, and I could put a QR code magnet or sticker, actually it's a sticker, on the back of it. I have all of these small stickers that came in. I dropped some of them, so these are small QR codes, stickers that I'll start passing around. And then there's another one there. And then this is also a sticker, so this would be able to go on the back or on the side of the Solo. So that way, anybody seeing the car, which is going to draw their attention in orange and being a unique vehicle on its own, can click this QR code. So that's the idea. And I'm going to do the same, passing these stickers around. So I'm going to start putting that on everything. Okay, last thing, Wednesday, actually got a confirmation from the East Valley Steering Committee, basically, for the San Bernardino County Interagency Council on Homelessness. Hopefully that name, like, soup that I just gave you, is showing, like, how much of a struggle I'm having of being able to figure out, like, who's the right people to talk to, who's all doing to work with, what's all going on with all this. There's a lot to learn and a lot to do. I did schedule to be able to brief them on our organization, what it is that we're doing, and how our mission is planning to support homeless veterans, and how we're going to be set up inside East Valley region of San Bernardino County. Scheduled to do that with them on the 17th of March, and I'm going to be in Virginia. Luckily, we were going to be doing it on Zoom anyway, so I have to build a brief and be prepared to brief while I'm on the East Coast and they're out here on the West Coast, but it shouldn't be a problem. So I'm trying to put that all together. Sometime, hopefully this week, I'll be done with that and have that ready to be able to brief next week. So Thursday, I got a chance to meet with Taylor, and hopefully now you're seeing some pictures and some video of Taylor's build. I got a chance to meet with him and get inside an actual ambulance that had been converted to a tiny home for the first time. So that was my very first exposure to one. Not only did I make contact with someone who has done an ambulance build, I feel like I made a friend. So I thought this was a really cool opportunity to see a converted ambulance, but also I found a great opportunity to make a new friend who's interested in outdoor activities, interested in the mission that we have, and he really likes being down here. He comes down each season and does guide work for rock climbing through the Joshua Tree. So he's involved with the Winona Outdoor Collaborative, and they basically help people who might not normally have the opportunity to do outdoor sports and be able to get out and do some of those. So he thought that might be a good opportunity for our two organizations to work together. I totally agree. So if you have a chance, I'll put a link in the description to the Winona Outdoor Collaborative. If you're in Minnesota or know people in Minnesota or think that an organization like that should exist in your region, maybe you could talk to them and look towards helping them out in spreading their mission of making outdoor sports and outdoor activities and outdoor recreation more accessible to people who might not normally have the ability to pay $200 to buy a stand-up paddleboard or a kayak or something. So that's the idea. But it was a really great opportunity to meet him and get a chance to go in and see an ambulance that was converted to a tiny home for the first time. So I'm trying to go through the next few rapid fire because I am spending a little too long on all these. So I started a conversation with Amy at the San Bernardino County for homelessness about how we go through applying for Project Roomkey. Got approval to pay for the digitization of our logo to be used for embroidery. We had our board meeting for the month of March. I addressed the idea of pairing with the fire departments in the county instead of just with the county homelessness board, because you can apply for some of these grants, especially Project Roomkey or Project Homekey, with any government organization. It does not have to be the Council for Homelessness, and since ours deals with ambulances and having mobility be a part of it, it was recommended by Paula to look at using the Public Transit Authority as an option for a partnership to apply for this, and I thought there could potentially be an option to partner with fire departments as well. We got back those video clips from Best One. Paula provided a summary of all of the awards already done through Project Roomkey, Project Homekey to date, and no single award was less than $3.5 million, which made me think it's probably ideal for us to go ahead and go with the big target and think towards the $1.6 million 4-bay, 2-acre property that I found already that I feel like is a really, really good fit for us, and build our plan out like that is the objective. If we don't manage to get that much on the grant, then we don't do that particular project, but I think we could shoot for that, looking at these numbers as to what it is that everybody gets. So with that idea in mind, rolling into Friday, I was trying to get Visio, because I'm very familiar with Visio and using it as a design tool to be able to lay out the actual work site using the property in Joshua Tree, that I really do think that is the right property. It's the one I showed y'all a while ago. And I don't have Visio installed on here. I don't have a Visio license for here. I had Visio home use program a while ago. Somehow it's not installed in here. Can't get licensing for that. Can't figure out how to get that installed. So I've been trying a whole bunch of different ways to figure out how to get some kind of a design tool installed on this computer so that I can lay out the actual plan to be able to be a part of our proposal, so we can put in an application for Project Home Key, Project Room Key by the time the deadline comes around. I want it to include exactly where that building is, what the layout of the property is, where we would put the 40-foot shipping containers that have been converted over into homes, what that would look like inside, how we then build out the RV parking spaces for those who decide to stay with us in their ambulance, just all of that. And I would love to be able to lay that out and design it, and right now I can't do that because I don't have Visio on here, and I have no design software on this computer, unfortunately. I could use Fusion 360 and build it in full 3D space, which would be super cool, but I'm waiting on our 501c3 approval so that TechSoup, which I applied to get a license for Fusion 360 through them, can approve our request, because right now, without being 501c3 approved, they can't do it. So did that day too. Right, so that's through Friday, and that's as far as I go each week. We'll cover from Saturday through the end of this week on next week's video. So appreciate your time. I'm trying to keep these a little bit shorter than the last one, but the last one had a whole lot of hiccups with the tires and everything else. So appreciate your time, and I'll look forward to talking to you all next week. And if you haven't already, make sure you like this video and leave a comment if there's anything you think that I should be working on, if there's any references or sites or groups that you think maybe we could communicate with or work with that would be very positive for us to actually work with. If you're trying to keep up with what we're doing, make sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications for the videos, because we're going to be doing at least these videos every week for the near future. Hopefully sometime in the next month or two, we'll actually go ahead and head out to Ohio and drive this ambulance back here to Southern California, and we'll be posting videos about that too.